What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. We talk Saints with our guy Nick Underhill from neworleans.football. Nick is at the NFL Spring Meetings right now. It's set the scene for us a little bit, Nick, in terms of this feels like an event to me where, yes, you're going to have your official on-the-record statements, but this feels like one of those events where the off-the-record, behind-the-scenes convos that you are privy to are probably where the actual interest and juice lies.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, this is kind of the probably the best one to cover because, I mean, I think people are just kind of relaxed. Like, you're at a resort, like people are just kind of, they're going to their meetings, they're hanging out, like free agency, first wave's over. Like it's just kind of a better vibe than, you know, the Combine or the Senior Bowl and some of those other events. But yeah, I mean, look, it's, you know, yesterday I'm like in an elevator and like Kyle Shanahan pops on and, you know, I'm able to talk to him about Clint Kubiak. Like it's just kind of like a different, more laid back event than kind of any of the other ones. And I think the access here is probably a little bit better than other places or some of the other events.
Yeah, we broke down the article from New Orleans on Football earlier with the Shan. So wait, so that's where the Shanahan quote came from? Talking about Kubiak being a great coach, just from a little casual elevator ride?
Well, I mean, I might have like, you know, seen someone go to an elevator and like got myself in there and it's like, well, since we're here, you know.
Nice work. Hell yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's how that went down. Yeah.
That's kind of like the SEC spring meetings too, Nick, and I tell T-Bob that all the time. It's like it's just a different, relaxed feeling, and like these coaches aren't preparing for a game, and they're not, you know, up against the clock, and so it's like, oh, you can actually be a human being that has real emotion, and you can have a personality.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's definitely that. Yeah, and I mean, like they're out here. Most of the guys, like the people at the Saints, got their families out here too. So it's just kind of you see them like in a whole different setting, and then there's like this like reception, and everybody's kind of there. So it's almost like a I don't know how to put it, but it's just like, you know, so often like we're like on adversarial sides of things, and like this thing, it's a little bit, it's just kind of like a little bit different, and like meeting on a common ground, and it's definitely very, very valuable to be here. And yeah, I mean, I think for the Saints right now, like it's not a lot of good news either. So it's kind of setting the stage for, I think, maybe a few grim weeks ahead. I don't know if you guys saw, like we just saw, or DA just told us this morning that Ramczyk's knee is probably going to go into the season, and it sounds like there's probably a pretty real possibility that he might not play this year. And if he doesn't play, I mean, I think it's kind of maybe even possible that he doesn't play again at all. I mean, I think that's kind of the reality they got to prepare for. So that's kind of the big thing coming out of here. So, you know, for a minute, it's like, you know, all good. And then like, you know, right there, it's like the Saints just kind of bring you back to their reality again, kind of just some of the bad news.
Well, and we broke again because we broke down your piece from the spring meetings, and so we talked about the Chase Young injury news, and then Jake found the report on the Ramczyk news. Do you think does this significantly impact the draft, where now you have to put your thumb on the scale for a tackle, given that really you're looking at finding now two answers instead of just one?
It's brutal, man. It's absolutely brutal. I mean, because. Yeah, like, and look, there's been some like stuff people are speaking highly of Penning right now, but the realistic thing here is like nobody knows what he is. You can't prepare as if like, well, maybe he's an answer at one of them. You have no answers right now. You have James Hurst. Maybe you put him at one of those spots. They signed Uli. I'm not gonna be able to say his last name. Like maybe but those are depth guys. Like they don't have any starters at this position. And you know, I think you have to go out and try to bring Graham or Pete back now. I mean, I think that's something that has to become a very real thing. But yeah, they need two guys there. And, you know, I think we kind of always knew this was possible, but like it was kind of like a whisper before, like, well, maybe, well, like, you know, what if Ramczyk isn't ready? Like they might need two. So they got him. But like now it's real. It's not like an if thing. I think it's like now if he plays. And I think it's incredibly interesting that he cut out all the money from his contract earlier this offseason, takes it down to the $6.5 million that was already guaranteed, so that wasn't going anywhere. So, if there's a post-June 1st retirement, now you aren't carrying excess money until then.
Mm-hmm.
He retires after June 1st. That cap hit for this year goes to $11 million. You save 1.2. I don't know. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying the door is open for that, I think, that possibility. And at the very least, there was a very real admission that, hey, maybe things won't be okay this year. And, I'm not worth $17 million and I'm only worth 6.5. But, why would you do that? Why would you give that money back? I mean, maybe Ramczyk's just an incredibly forthright person and is seeing into the future that he's not going to be able to be what he was when he got that contract and wants to be fair. But, that doesn't happen very often. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm, maybe my third eye is too open on this and I'm trying to read into things that aren't really there. But I mean, I think that's telling on some level. We've seen other guys retire and they've done their contract that way. So I don't know. I mean, I was told specifically retirement's not there yet. So okay. I am really just kind of guessing here, but it just seems there's some stuff there that possibly it could set up for that. But at the very least, yeah, I mean, Dennis Allen coming out on March 26th and saying that Ramczyk might not play this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's very, very bad news.
So last time you signed Andrus Peat, and I do want to give him credit. I feel like he was much better this year, and he saved you in a lot of ways being able to play multiple positions. But last time you signed him, Nick, you overpaid a little bit because of what the market was. Do you feel like that's going to be the same situation because of this news? You might not have been willing to push across a number for Andrus Peat, but now you feel like you have to?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it felt like Pete kind of almost always got overpaid, and now you need him. He was always the person they were pushing out, person they were trying to replace, and somehow he's just become the most essential person in the world. It's kind of crazy how it's all played out. He's went out. Where did he visit? He visited the Titans recently. Didn't get a deal.
Did I hear Denver, or am I just doing a Sean Payton thing here?
I don't know if it was.
I haven't heard.
Okay, I'm wrong. Ignore me.
You might have.
Yeah, I mean, the market for him doesn't seem to be overbearing. But I'd be willing to pay him to come back. I don't know. I'd be a little bit scared right now, but they're playing it cool. And I mean, they've obviously known the Ramczyk thing, for a few weeks, and they're aware of the situation. So, I mean, if it was that dire, I don't know. It's surprising to me that they haven't brought him back at this point because it feels like an absolute must. But I mean, this really might be a double dip situation at 14 and 45. You have to get two, I think. I don't think you can leave anything to chance. I would feel better about it if they brought Pete back and you can draft one, and then if you want to draft two, you can draft two. But that's going to be a boring draft if that's how they got to go about it. But I mean, it's what they have to do. I think. I mean, you have to at least get one, and I would absolutely be bringing Pete back right now. I wouldn't even leave that to chance. It's just man, it's just too much up in the air. It's kind of hard to reconcile the thought. I don't know how they win games right now if you don't have any tackles. It is such a bad situation.
I mean, isn't Hurst a free agent? Did I miss something there? He's still a free agent as well, right?
No, he took a pay cut, I believe, down to the league minimum. I think he cut his salary all the way down. So. Yeah.
That's what you want, a guy willing to take a league minimum.
Whoa. Relax. He's just a team player, Jake.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, he's just a foxhole guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick.
It's not a good solution. It's definitely not. I mean, no. I don't like him at tackle, and I think this team's going to ask for more mobility than they've ran a lot of outside zone before, but it's going to be even more. I mean, and I don't think Hurst is I don't think he's the best guy for that, honestly. I mean,
right.
The good thing about this team, though, is there's been bad offensive linemen. You get them in it, and it often makes them look a little bit better. So, I don't know that everybody has to be an all-pro, but, you got to be better than that. You got to raise the bar a little bit on it, I think.
Well, I mean, again, we talked about it earlier, right? There's so much pressure on Kubiak to make Carr work, and this whole phase of the New Orleans Saints have been built around Derek Carr, and he is not someone that is particularly good when pressured, and now you have major O-line hurdles that you're looking to overcome. It feels, like you said, pretty dire at this point. But Maybe if we wanted to engage in some optimism here, which is, again, dangerous around these parts. Last year, you reworked that defensive staff, and I think it paid dividends. I think the defense got better. This year, you have not just hired Kubiak, but you have reworked the whole offensive staff top to bottom. I love the quote that you had from Harbaugh and Keith Williams and his route running ability and what that could mean for his ability to teach route running, what they mean for the wide receiver group. Who's the most, do you think, potentially impactful new coach outside of Kubiak?
I mean, I think you just said it. I really like the Keith Williams hiring. I mean, just for that room where everybody's at, you got young guys, and I think bringing him in, just the route running stuff, I think is huge and instrumental. Like that's going to pay dividends, I think, for someone like Shaheed too, who's really, really good, but I think has a lot of room for improvement just in some of that tactical stuff. And then the other thing about him is that, I've heard that he's kind of like the tough uncle. Like he's going to tell people, what they need to hear, not necessarily what they want to hear. And he can kind of do it in a way that doesn't alienate people.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a room with a lot of young guys. Like, I think that's going to be really important too. And I think sometimes that spreads out too beyond your position group. Like when Curtis Johnson was here, he was kind of like the head cracker. He'd go around and just to everybody, like, hey, look, man, you're he'd be the person, get right. You're acting stupid, whatever. Like, I don't know that they had kind of that bad cop on the staff last year that could go around and kind of do that stuff. And it sounds like, he has some of that to him. So I think that's going to be a really good thing for them. And then, I think on the O-line, Benton might be somebody that pays dividends too. Like, it remains to be seen, but I do just like the idea of trying something different with Penning, and maybe a different coach gets more out of them. I think just maybe the teaching there overall could be a little bit better. Like the development, I don't think has necessarily been as consistent on the offensive line as it should have been the last few years. We saw Ruiz kind of go up and then dip a little bit again last year. So, I think somebody that can just maybe keep building and help these guys reach their potential. Nick Saldiveri should probably be someone that's competing to be a starter, and he was just kind of off the radar. So, I mean, I think there's just a handful of guys that could benefit from it there. So, yeah, I would say those two. But, yeah, I mean, Harbaugh's endorsement of Keith that's big praise. Like, he called him, like, the best route running coach he's ever known of, been around, whatever. Like, and Harbaugh's been around for a long time. He's seen a lot of coaching. And for that to be the endorsement, I mean, that's a big compliment.
Yeah, and it was specific enough where it didn't feel like just like coach speak, just like, oh yeah, he's great or whatever, right? So I agree with your assessment there. Well, Nick, have fun at spring meetings. neworleans.football is the site. Go sign up today for all of your coverage for your New Orleans Saints. That is the answer. It is wild how much Trevor Penning is needed by this team now. Come on, Penning. Get it done, dude. neworleans.football is the site, though. Sign up today. Nick, thank you so much, man. Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.